Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Jamie Epstein from My Life Coaching Center here. I'm with Myrna Tamel from the Lifecompass Health and Wellness, who's a nutritionist and a scientist, and she's going to be talking to you from her computer. I'm going to be talking to you from my iPhone because I'm having a problem with my iPad and my computer. So if it's a little dicey, just please forgive me. We're going to have lots of questions to pick Myrna's brain because she has a lot of information to help you with your nutritional needs. So first of all, welcome, Myrna. Thank you for coming on your show, and tell us a little bit about yourself, please, and what you do.
Thank you, Jamie. My name is, like you said, Myrna Tamel. I am a research scientist and a holistic nutritionist and a certified health and wellness life coach. So I wanted to do this Q&A session today just to shed some light on the difference between a holistic nutritionist and I guess what that means. Not everyone really understands what holistic nutrition means. So thank you, Dr. Jamie Epstein. Can you just introduce yourself and let our audience know a little bit about yourself as well?
Sure. I'm Dr. Jamie Epstein. I'm a therapist and life coach trainer here in New York City. I work in working with people to better their lives. I work in addiction medicine and helping people overcome addictions and working with their families. Also, I've been practicing therapist since 1988. I'm originally from California. I'm here in the city now 30 years, and I'm enjoying it. I like what I do. I like helping people figure out problems and making your life whole again. That's what I do.
Yeah, that's great. And one of the reasons we decided to do this Q&A like this, I guess you didn't mention it, but you actually host a cable television show, but due to the pandemic.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. We do have a television show, but we can't use it right now because everything with the COVID, they're not allowing people into the studio. But yes, we have a cable show called The Coaching Corner where we interview professionals worldwide to let the people know that there are many services out there that they normally wouldn't be aware of that are cost effective for them. So that's one of the things I do. But what I also have done with that is doing a live Facebook series of working with the same people, but doing it live on Facebook and also on YouTube. So that's where I am at this point. So thanks, Myrna, for finding me.
Okay, well, great. So we could get started.
Okay. My first question to you is, what is a holistic nutritionist? What is that really mean? What does it really mean?
Okay, so when people, I guess the word that throws people off is the word holistic. And then you put it with nutrition, and basically what happens is people get sidetracked in the sense that what exactly the holistic means. So the philosophy of holistic nutrition is one that expresses your health in combination with like physical, chemical, mental, emotional, as well as the spiritual and environmental aspects. So how all these things affect your body as a whole in your life, not just the food you eat, but your environment as well.
Okay. What are some of the, would you say, different types of lifestyle changes and lifestyle changes for as far as adults?
Well, lifestyle changes or diets or?
Both, lifestyle changes and also diets as well.
So in terms of like lifestyle changes, it depends on what's going on in your life and what you want to change. Let's say you're fatigued or you're having trouble sleeping, you want to lose weight, you're not eating healthy. So, you know, as a holistic nutritionist, I would first identify what your main objective is and how we could go about helping you achieve your goal.
Why is that difficult for people, would you say?
Why is it difficult for people in terms of, I guess people don't know where to get started, right? So in terms of like to go back to your other point of about what are the different types of lifestyle diets. So some people tend to go with what's popular or what's known as fad diets, right? And you see a lot of this stuff in the media, commercials, advertisement. Try this if you want to lose weight, try this diet. But what I like to do is try to figure out the biochemistry of you and individualize a custom plan to help you reach your goal. I mean, there's many different types of diets that help. There's like the Mediterranean diet, which is basically how people eat in Southern Europe in terms of they eat a lot of plant-based foods, vegetables, beans, nuts, some cheese, and it consists of, you know, a third of it's mostly fat and very moderate red meat and fish or protein. Like other diets would be like something called zone diet, which is based on your genetics, right? There's a lot of new tests out there that actually you could actually run a gene profile and you could see what types of food are best for your genetic makeup, which is actually pretty cool. That's like cutting edge stuff. And then there's stuff like DASH diet for hypertension. There's, you know, many other different diet, but the goal is to figure out what is the best one that fits you as an individual.
Okay. So speaking as a scientist, you work from a scientific base on helping individuals in your private practice and also what you do in the course of your day at your full-time job as well.
Yeah, full-time, I didn't mention that, but full-time, I manage a biochemistry lab focused on cancer research. So figuring out the mechanism of cancer and like small molecule inhibitors. And one of the reasons I got into more integrative or holistic aspect of health is because although conventional medicine is very good for certain types of ailments and for treating disease, but it doesn't really address the root cause. And it doesn't talk about prevention as much. So if you do an integration and a holistic, you could prevent and actually reverse a lot of ailments that people have and reduce medication, which I think is important for overall quality of life.
I've heard so many times this word yo-yo diet. What is a yo-yo diet? Are you aware of that?
Oh, that's what I was talking about, like those fad diets. So yo-yo diet would be like, oh, you try something and then you go off and you go back to eating the regular way and then you try another thing. So you're fluctuating. So it's like just trying out different things because maybe you feel like you're desperate and nothing's working and you don't really understand your body, right? So that's another aspect of holistic nutrition. I teach you to listen to your body. Your body actually talks to you about what's going on. And the way your body talks to you is the way it expresses certain things. Take, for example, if you eat something and you're allergic, what happens? You have a physical response, right?
Mm-hmm.
You swell up, you get hives, you feel nauseous, you get fatigue, you're flushed. So that's your body saying, hey, whatever you're doing to me, I don't like, right? But when you eat subtle things, that's like extreme form when you're having an allergic reaction. But on a day-to-day basis, your body tells you certain things, and what you need to do is be more in tune with your body, and that also revolves around your lifestyle.
Okay. Can you tell me from a scientific point of view, what is a vegan lifestyle? And also, what is the difference between vegan and vegetarian lifestyle? What help me understand that.
Okay.
Vegetarian, vegan, there's two different types that I don't quite understand. Can you explain that to me, please?
So basically, yeah, that's a good question. And there's actually a couple of categories of vegetarian diet. So vegetarian diet is basically, you know, eating vegetables and refraining from animal products. So a vegetarian will just eat mainly a plant-based diet, but there's different categories within the vegetarian diet, which is like, it revolves around like dairy and eggs. So there's something called a lacto-vegetarian. So that means they don't eat meat, but they do eat dairy products, but they don't eat any eggs, right? So that's like a lactose. So lactose for lactose, which is from dairy. And then there's an ovo-vegetarian. That means they'll eat eggs, but they won't eat any dairy. So no yogurt, no milk product. And then there's the lacto-ovo-vegetarian that they will eat vegetables and eggs and dairy, but they won't eat honey because honey comes from an animal. So the whole concept of vegetarian.
Back up. You said honey comes from animals. Bees are called animals now?
Well,
Not
I mean, the
insects?
bee technically, right? It's a product from a living creature.
Well, that's important because a lot of people think that bees are insects.
Yeah. Well, they are insects, but they
Right,
produce honey, right?
right.
It's a natural product. So
So I
it's
think it's
kind of like
important.
one of those things you don't think about, right?
Right,
But
absolutely.
yeah. But then a vegan now, a vegan is a very strict type of diet in which there's no type of animal product, and none of the ingredients are animal based at all. It's purely plant based food. So no dairy, no egg, no honey, no meat, no fish, no poultry. That's a vegan.
Okay, that's a vegan. So people who do eat fish and chicken, what is that?
Well, people who eat fish are pescatarians, right? But if you
Say it
eat
again.
chicken, then you're a regular uh, person that eats chicken. But if you're a pescatarian, so I myself is a pescatarian. I became a pescatarian a few years back. So
Explain
I
that.
eat.
People understand that, please.
So basically, my diet consists of no meat byproducts, and my protein sources is fish. So there's a variety of different fish and vegetables and fruits.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. That's very informative. Is the keto diet healthy for you? Or keto? It's keto.
The keto, right?
Keto, yeah,
Keto.
like
Yeah,
Japanese
keto diet.
sense.
So keto diet is basically, just to explain a little bit about keto, right? So keto is like, short is keto diet. The keto genetic diet is basically like a low carb diet, low carbohydrates, a modern protein, and a higher fat content, right? And the whole concept of this is because you want to switch your body. So your body uses glucose, which is like the end product of carbohydrates, right? You use glucose for energy, right? But in keto, what you're doing is you're changing the source of that energy. So you're burning the fat, either the fat that you're intaking as food or the fat that you already have stored in your body as energy source. So that's considered a keto diet. And the thing with keto, it became a fad and is this great diet and it's very actually good. There are scientific studies that show that it's very healthy for you, but it doesn't mean you go eat burgers and bacon every single day and every meal. You have to eat healthy proteins, healthy food, right? Healthy fats.
Okay. Fasting. Why do people fast and fail?
Well, fasting is another interesting thing. So many throughout human culture, many different cultures and background include fasting in either religious or lifetime practice. Back in the day, in caveman days, it was they would fast based on the food source, and certain religions uh, fast, certain cultures fast. So fasting actually is good practice in terms of giving your body a chance to rest. And it doesn't mean not drinking any water. Some, depending on like some cultures, it's a complete fast, no liquids, no food. But if you're fasting, like intermittent fasting is a big thing now, and it's done in combination sometimes with keto. So intermittent fasting is basically when you're eating a certain ratio, or you're fasting. So if you're fasting for 16 hours, let's say you start eating at 12 o'clock and you stop eating by 8 or 9 o'clock, right? So you're fasting from 9 p.m. until 12 p.m. the next day, and your eating hours you have an 8-hour window. So that's called a 16-8 fast, right? And then what that does is a restricted window, and you could eat three or more meals, small meals, but you want to eat healthy meals. And there's something called a 5-2 diet, fast intermittent. So that means for 5 days you eat regular meal schedule, right? But then on the weekends or the 2 days you'll fast. So intermittent fasting actually allows your body to rest and rebuild your organs, and actually there's studies that show it helps with reproducing beta cells in your pancreas, which, you know, insulin is a big thing, and it helps with pre-diabetes or diabetes. So there's studies that show if you do intermittent fasting is actually good for cancer. Since I also do cancer research, that intermittent fasting and keto is actually shows that because the main source of cancer is glucose, and if you reduce the glucose content with these diet methods, it actually, you have a better outcome in terms of certain types of ailments like prediabetes, diabetes, you know, high cholesterol. So yeah, keto intermittent fasting done under supervision of a, you know, a certified nutritionist and with the right information is very doable, and it works for a lot of people.
Okay. Tell me about the diabetic lifestyle foods.
Yeah, so as I was talking about diabetes, so there's something called diabesity, which is a big problem in Western culture. So it's basically, I believe it's the 6th leading cause of death in the country right now. And it's basically the Western diet. So diabetes is, you know, when your body either cannot produce enough insulin, that's type 1, or type 2 is when your body doesn't use the insulin correctly to process the sugar. So you have high glucose in your blood. So the idea of diabetic lifestyle is just eating a low glycemic food, low carb or higher protein, no refined sugars or fats.
Including alcohol, would you say?
Yeah, alcohol actually, because, you know, is made from, you know, oat barley, and the brown alcohol is actually sugar. There's sugar in it, right?
Yeah,
You don't think
absolutely.
about that.
No, that's true. That's very important.
Yeah, and
What?
let's focus on like the low glycemic index.
Okay. What is or some of the non-nutritional diets factors that you would say affect your body physically?
I would say, like I was talking about earlier, sleep, poor digestion, hormone imbalances, those are some of the things. Stress is a big factor as well, and fatigue. So I think those are some anxiety. Those are some of the emotional eating. Those are the things that are not, they're more mental, emotional, and they cause a physical stress on your body.
Okay. As a scientist, nutritionist, and health and wellness coach,
Mm-hmm.
in your opinion, why do you think that diets fail more?
I think diets tend to fail because lack of understanding how your body works and consistency, right? If you don't really understand how your body works, because you're a unique individual and your body is also unique. So if you don't understand how your body works and how to listen to it and take care of it, and not have a consistent plan, so diets tend to fail. I think that's one of the main reasons. So I see we have some people. We could take some questions from the
Yes. Do you
audience.
have any other questions besides mine?
Yeah. So I ask people to unmute if they want to ask any questions. We could take a few questions.
Yeah, I have a question
Sure.
about.
And who are you? Who are you, sir? Who are you?
Oh, I'm sorry. I am Paul Chisholm, a nutritional health coach.
Hi, Paul.
And
Thank you for
how are
joining.
you?
May we see you, please?
Can you see me?
Yes.
Well, he is unmuted.
No, you can't.
So.
You
Okay.
can't see me. Wait a minute. My question is the difference between a vegan and a vegetarian. Now, under the vegetarian umbrella, there are different categories. How does one decide to say I'm not eating fish, or I'm not eating dairy, I'm not eating, because sometimes it gets a little confusing to the outsider who doesn't really understand the difference between.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think if you make a choice or you have a recommendation of becoming a vegetarian or a vegan, it's a lifestyle choice. So vegans feel like it's they may feel, I can't speak for all of them, but they may feel it's wrong to actually eat animals, right? Or use animals in certain products. So they opt to just stay away from all types of animal products.
So it's a personal choice.
Yeah, it's a personal choice. But then if you're a vegetarian, if I right, I'll use myself as an example. So I used to eat the traditional Western diet, right? And due to my own health issues and hormone imbalance and stuff, I made a conscious choice because I am a scientist and I wanted to pursue a way to help prevent and integrate a better lifestyle. So through learning about different things, I decided I wanted to be a pescatarian because I know for my body and also from studies that show that meat is very acidic, right? And your body needs to be alkaline. So it takes your body a longer time to process meat, and it raises the acidity in your body. And then the way that meat is, processed and product put in the industry is not the best. And if you understand like the hormones, the way that animals are treated, so if you're going to eat meat, then you have to know the source and how the animal was treated, and the recommendations of I could show you some videos which are very shocking. You'll see how the poor chickens are injected with hormones so their breasts are bigger. Traditional meat or chicken breasts are really small. They're not supposed to be really huge, right? And then for example, you have to make an educated choice on what you want to put in your body. And then it could be for health reasons. Like dairy is very inflammatory. I don't recommend dairy because it's very inflammatory and your body doesn't really need dairy. I mean, they say it's for fortified calcium and vitamin D, but fortified means it's added in.
Yeah,
So you could get that from other sources,
exactly.
supplemented.
So no ice cream. Yeah.
Well, I kind of think I go by the moderation.
Right, that's true, yeah.
But that word means different things to different people.
Well, yeah. So that's like Paul. You're also a nutritionist, so you understand the concept of not one size fits all, right? Well,
Exactly.
What's good for one person may not work for the other person.
But let me just switch gears a minute. Last thing we talked about was diet. The word diet, to the layperson, over time becomes restrictive.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned.
And that's why I think they fail, because they feel boxed in and they have to conform to this pre-planned contraption or whatever you want to call it, and they're stuck. And then when you don't see results, they give up.
But isn't that also, Paul, about discipline too? Discipline, the
Mindfulness.
mindset of yourself.
Well, I'd like to use the example of martial arts. You're a martial art person. There's a lot of discipline and dedication and mindfulness in the art. I think the same thing applies to food. And you can't just approach food from a mindless. I mean, if you have an intention of being healthy and eating healthy, then you really have to be mindful about what the hell you're putting in your body.
Yeah, so that's the concept of like the foundation of, like I was talking about earlier, like a holistic person looks at all the different aspects, and you have to understand. And I don't like the term diet. It's more of a lifestyle choice and change. And you're right, it's because they feel they're under a restriction, and it shouldn't be a restriction. It should be a way of life, but you have to understand what's good for you and how what that food you eat makes you feel.
Right. Exactly.
I also think, and as far as family is concerned, I think we have to take this into consideration that a lot of people, Paul, you talk about a lot of this in the class, and we talk about it as well, is that a lot of people don't know how to read the labels on boxes or food.
Well, they're confusing for
Well,
for
that's
the
one of the
layperson.
things I actually teach people how to do.
Right. But for the layperson, they're confusing, and people just shop emotionally. It's hard to go in a supermarket and go down the aisles that you shouldn't be going down, and you see all these things and you just grab and put it in there. Especially even if you have children, it's even harder.
Yeah.
But people don't read the labels. It's called self-care. It's up to us as an individual to be able to be responsible for reading the labels and taking everything that it's written on there if they can understand it, which is the key part, to understand.
Yeah.
And most people don't understand what it means.
I agree with you. So that's one of the things we teach people as a nutritionist is how to read the label. So I want to there's a question in the queue. Is there a low glycemic alcohol you can indulge in? So I would say, yes, you could have anything in moderation. So if you're going to have alcohol, I would stay with the clear liquor, right? So like maybe vodka or tequila, because they have less sugar content as opposed to the rum. I hope I answered that question from one of our attendees.
Okay, Mary, this has been very informative. Could you tell us a little bit about any upcoming events that you have coming up that will help people not only find you, but will help people learn a lot more from you?
Yeah, actually, I have an event coming up called Fall Back into Health, and that is on November 8th. It's a Sunday at 2 p.m. We're going to talk about seasonal foods. I'm a big believer of eating seasonal, and the reason being is you get the food that are grown in the season, you have the higher nutrient content as well. And I'm also going to have a colleague and a friend of mine talk about physical health, because we are in a pandemic and we are a bit more restrictive, and the weather is getting colder. So she's going to talk about some simple exercises you can do at home, even if you don't have gym equipment as well. And we're going to have a Reiki person who's going to talk a little bit about some of the things you could do to address stress. And then in December, we're going to do a winter wellness. So, winter is the season when people tend to get more sad or depressed. The days are shorter, the nights are longer. So I'm going to talk about some of the healthy comfort foods you can eat. And also, it's a cold season, so you want to also boost your immune system as well. And then Dr. Jamie Epstein, you're going to be on with me. And can you tell us a little bit about what you're going to discuss in regards to the winter blues?
Yes, we're going to talk about using clinical hypnosis and depression and anxiety and stress and being outright sad about things. We're going to talk about different sets of mindset and the exercises I'm going to show you to do to be able to boost your emotional well-being during the course of the winter months.
Okay, that's great. I think if there's any other questions from our attendees, we'll take some last minute questions. No?
Well, Mary, this has been wonderful. How can people get in touch with you? What is your website? What is your, have you written any books or any papers, or what's your phone numbers? How can people get in touch and get to know you?
Well, to get to know me, you could just reach me at my website, which is lifecompasswellness.com. I am on Facebook and Instagram as lifecompass3. My email is lifecompasswellness@gmail.com. And my phone number is 909-554-3326.
One more time with all that, please.
Okay, the website is lifecompasswellness.com. Facebook, my business page is lifecompass3, and Instagram as well. My email is lifecompasswellness@gmail.com. And you can reach me at 909-554-3326.
Myrna, thank you so much. Thank you, people who've asked questions, and we look forward to having you come back to another series of Myrna, and we'll be able to educate you in further areas of nutrition and health. I'm Dr. Jamie Epstein from My Life Coaching Center. Thank you all very much for showing up and being part of this panel.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
All right.
Have a good night. Take care.